r/Airbnb hosts. Book of Numbers says, guest brought 2 dogs, but hasn't brought them inside. I have a no pets listing, but noticed on Ring camera guest has 2 dogs they are keeping in a crate in the back of their covered truck. The past couple of days I have noticed them walking them daily and putting them back in crate. Seems like very odd behavior, but I'm not sure if this breaks the no pets rules. It also seems cruel to leave them in a crate and walk them twice a day for their 7-day stay. It's Orlando, so it's not exactly cold, but temps at night have been in the 40s and 50s, which seems too cold for me. Thoughts? Should I do anything or just continue to monitor the situation? Edited to say I uploaded an image of the truck in a comment below as I can't add one here. Laterdata Rainy says, that's not really cold for dogs, especially if they are accustomed to living outdoors. It's not how you or I would treat our pets, but a lot of dogs are crate dogs, especially while traveling. I don't think it's ideal, but it used to be that kenneling your dog meant doing exactly what the guest is doing. At Disneyland, they had a dog kennel right outside the main gates, where stroller rental is now, for many years, and if you left your dogs there, they were crated just like this. I wouldn't concern yourself here. Unless you see that the dogs are seriously upset to the point of hurting themselves, it's pretty like point Y. That they are used to it. Sad, I think, but not really cause for alarm. Icing Ships 1470 says, Jesus. In a box truck for 7 days? Please call animal control immediately. That's unacceptable. As others have stated, it can get above 100 in there, even if it's only in the 70s outside. BK2PGH says, it definitely doesn't break your rule, but it's pretty shitty for the dogs. Mucinim Scale says, we had to bring our cat to an Opet's place while moving across states. The cat had a history of terrible boarding experiences and we could not find any other accommodations where the cat was allowed to stay. We specifically arrived at the place at sundown. The overpass low/high was below 70 and above 50. The cat had food, water, a bed, and a litter box set up in our backseat. We checked on her twice before we went to sleep and then left immediately at sunrise. The host of our place still yelled at me for having the cat and said we were abusing her if we left her outside and that we weren't allowed to bring her inside. It was a terrible experience. We specifically planned the stay around the cat. We purchased special gear to make the backseat comfortable overnight for her. We followed all the host's rules. We didn't do anything to deserve to be berated by the host, and we had spent a lot of time, money, and energy to do our best in the situation we had. If there isn't animal abuse and they aren't breaking any rules, leave the guests alone. Edit to add, the closed up truck in this situation looks potentially abusive. But I still think that means OP should report it to the animal welfare authorities to handle. This has nothing to do with Airbnb if guests are following the rules. Tomarois Forgotten says, I believe the entire state of Florida has a ban on leaving animals in a car for any length of time, and regardless of the outside temperature. While the dogs are probably fine, though not happy, you could probably get them fined. I wouldn't go the Airbnb route, they haven't broken your rules. Cormxy says, as someone that lives in Alaska, it is humorous to read that someone thinks dogs won't be okay in 40 to 50 weather. Some years that can be the high temp. And I'm not just referring to huskies or sled dogs. My neighbor has a chihuahua, haha. As for the crating, well, a lot of people do it to their dogs. Alma Guest says, unless you want to offer to let them bring the dogs inside or refund them the rest of their stay so they can go find a pet-friendly accommodation, I would do nothing. Yes, it's shitty and they should not be keeping their dogs like this, but personally I would mind my own business on this one, because realistically what else are you going to do? r/Airbnb hosts. Anonymous 100 says, do I offer a partial refund for this? I'm a new host with 3 guest stays so far and 3 5-star ratings. My current guest has been wonderful and stated they loved the place but had an electrical issue. They messaged because a few plugs had suddenly stopped working. I responded immediately and asked if they were okay with me coming over and checking the electrical box. They were back online in less than 15 minutes. Do you try to get ahead of this type of thing with a small credit for the trouble, or just let it go? Airbnb says, no. You were there within 15 minutes. If they were in a hotel, they'd face a similar, or slower, response time and not get a refund. You're no different. Chicken Lady 1819 says, let it go. These things happen. You fixed it promptly. Nuts and Bolts to Mestwo says, you might want to consider a standard checklist. With that, either you or your housekeeper will know if everything is in working order before your next guest arrives. Edit to at, I would not offer a refund because the issue was solved in minutes. Makrojanov says, if you do offer a refund, you should ask the guests not to mention it in the review. I learned the hard way that if a guest mentions a special favor you did for them in the review, future guests will expect the same. Magilin2 says, no. You fixed it right away. Swert says, no refund. Montana Host says, my policy is that if I'm able to fix something right away, less than an hour, then no refund. If an amenity is down for a length of stay, then I offer a refund. For instance, internet down for half a day, offer $20 bucks, so don't offer a refund. I have found with guests that if I respond and fix a problem right away, they don't mention in reviews. McKinglemonade 2589 says, we've had hot water and Wi-Fi stop working. If it's an easy fix, no refund, never been asked. We had the toilet stop flushing and went to fix it. Reimburse the cleaning fee. Never mentioned in review other than quick to address issues or were very available to respond to questions. Lockteraga says, I would offer a $20 discount. Better than losing 1 star on this rating. OK Indication 7876 says, fixed in 15 minutes, let it go. Scene 7319 says, nope. They sound like nice people. So you just let them know that you enjoy their company and are happy to be of service. Just Nog says, I have someone upset about a blinking spotlight. I offered to send an electrician 2x to replace the bulb. They declined both times as they don't want anyone in the unit while there. I've thought about this, but don't think I will issue a refund since they won't allow a quick fix. We also have alternative lighting we guided them to. Lazy Push 3571 says, you did the right thing and just say you are sorry for the inconvenience and let it go. Responsible Eb 2933 says, I wouldn't you fix the problem in 15 minutes. You can thank them in your review of them. Whippet a Hop says, I'm in the camp of offering some small consideration, like a very small refund. You're still new and learning things and you can't afford bad reviews at this stage. You're also still working out all the kinks in the home. This is a kink. Honestly, an electrical problem like this is a systemic home problem. It will happen again unless you fix the root cause, and it absolutely should be taken seriously. Some other people on this thread are saying how normal it is. One example is a person saying that they tell guests not to run the fan and blow dryer at the same time. That's ridiculous and it's lazy rental quality. They probably aren't fixing the issue because they are cheap. If you have to hand out special instructions because you have wiring issues, then you have a problem that needs fixing. This person has a known electrical and potential safety hazard in their home, and they let it continue. It's irresponsible. Also, someone else said a hotel would take longer and offer no refund, except this sort of problem will not occur in a hotel room that has well planned and well installed wiring and circuits. Beyond a simple break or flip, if it's an older home/wiring, then you are potentially risking a fire. Guests should not have to deal with a problem like this. You don't want this on your reviews, because it will stick. I would personally avoid a home with any kind of electrical issues. r/Airbnb hosts. Practical Audience 90 says. Several bookings in the last 24 hours, weird or no? Hi, okay, so something weird is going on, and I can't put my finger on it. I have a lakeside cabin in Ontario. It is the middle of winter. It's a cozy cabin with a wood stove and all 5-star reviews. But most of the appeal is in the summer months. Yesterday we got a week-long booking request for the week between over Christmas. Great, we accepted it, but then noticed that it's awaiting payment. This person had good reviews and is also a host. Why would a host not have payment info? I thought this was weird. This is our third awaiting payment reservation since we started our listing 8 months ago, and the other 2 never materialized and were cancelled after the 24-hour waiting period. I messaged the guest asking them to update their payment, but it's now been 12 hours and nothing. What is the end game here? Within a few hours, or that I got 2 more bookings for days on either side of that reservation, so this would mean our back half of December is mostly booked. I haven't accepted them yet, but I'm now starting to be weirded out because of the volume of bookings, 3 in a day, plus 1 yesterday, when normally we'd see 1 or 2 a week. Neither of these 2 bookings have any reviews. Has anyone experienced this? I mean, I know it sounds great that I'm getting these bookings, but I'm just a bit skeptical. Like, did everyone wake up on December 1st and realize they need to make last minimum holiday plans, or is this some sort of cyber attack? Mind you, I deal with fraud at a bank, so I'm predisposed to think any volume spikes are super fishy lol. Comfortable Bug 11235 says. A friend with 4 properties once told me that bookings drive bookings. She believed that a booking gives you a boost in the algorithm. I had a week-long stretch about a month ago where I got 7 bookings. That is insanely high for us, so perhaps some truth to my friend's idea. Ianzable says. Maybe there is an event, or for some reason higher interest in your area right now. I wouldn't be concerned about the awaiting payment. My credit card as a traveler is not the same as my bank routing info for hosting. And it is Airbnb's responsibility to collect the payment, not yours. I'd be happy for the bookings and go for it as long as the guests have good reviews and stuff. Capped Blackfoot says. I tend to see a surge in booking at the end of the month, which is payday for a lot of people. Anxious Cheetah 5589 says. Probably just a coincidence that you got 3 bookings in a flurry. We have a ski house, have had a pickup in interest since Thanksgiving. I guess people shift into winter mode after that. The payment weirdness is unrelated. That should work itself out shortly. Airbnb is deficient in many ways, but getting paid isn't one of them. Close bracket. Careful Self 457 says. I'm curious as to why hosts think everything is a scam. If I felt that way, I would get out of the business. I would hate being that stressed out and cynical all the time. Negflix says. Why not just wait the 24 hours instead of freaking out here prematurely? The Bossress 9 says. I'm only just starting out, but I saw a dip in bookings before Thanksgiving, and it increased this week after. I assume people were focused on their Thanksgiving plans, and now that it's over they are making their winter plans. Verified Kyle says. I think you have too much time on your hands. Either they update, or the days get released. I've had it go both ways and the guests have never been an issue that did eventually update. Ru212 says. These are people who realized that Christmas is 20 days away and they have planned nothing. But Branniger says, I work in a hotel, so I'm not sure how different the booking patterns are, but we typically see an uptick for Christmas just after people wrap up Thanksgiving. Could either be people dealing with one holiday at a time or family and friends planning Christmas trips during Thanksgiving dinner. Icing Ships 1470 says, we get a lot of interest in our cottages for the days leading up to Christmas to the weekend after Nye. It's usually one of two things, people avoiding family for the holidays, or people visiting family in the area for the holidays. Generally speaking, 90% of those bookings come in after Thanksgiving/end of November, as that is usually the paycheck that end of year bonus is it. Good real good says, sometimes it be like that. I'd be happy as a clam that Airbnb is vetting the payment. I co-host a lodge and it's on a handful of platforms and also has its own direct book. Chasing after guests for correct CC info after failed charges is a hassle. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.